Baruch's self-searching. Thus passed the winter, and summer gave way to autumn. The month of Elul came. Baruch followed the guidance of his brother-in-law Yosef Yitzchak, and was studying Musar from Rabbeinu Yeina's Shari Tshuva and other books such as the Reish Chachma, Hilchas Tshuva, as well as the tractates Rosh Hashanah and Yuma. These books made a tremendous impression on Baruch and absolutely opened up a new world for him. A new warmth and sentiment permeated his being, where up to now reason alone had reigned. The effect was to make him feel that his life had been very imperfect in the past, and that only by following the teachings of these books could he hope to live as perfectly as the Jew should. He realized that his attitude toward his fellow beings had up until now been calculated even when generous, but that a real feeling of warm sentiment and kinship had been lacking. He recalled a recent incident which had occurred at the Beis Medrash in Yanovich, where he had been studying. While he was sitting in a corner, studying earnestly, as always, in rushed a man and woman, hurling themselves at the Holy Ark and pouring out their hearts and crying and entreaty to the Almighty to help them in their terrible trouble. Their one and only child, their daughter, who was getting ready to be married, lay seriously ill at death's door. Other people hurried in too, and they all prayed together and recited Tehillim for the sick girl. Baruch looked on in sympathy, naturally, but it had not occurred to him to participate in any way. He was at the Beis Medrash for the sole purpose of studying Torah, and whatever might be going on around him was not his affair. He was there to study, and study he did. Baruch learned later that the couple, who had first rushed in to the Beis Medrash to pray for the life of their daughter, had for many years been childless. At long last, they were blessed with a precious daughter. They were well known, well placed, and well respected people in their town, and they gave their daughter a very fine upbringing, as befitted a true daughter of Israel. She grew up to be a credit to her parents, and she was naturally the apple of their eye. When she became marriageable age, they were very anxious to find a suitable party for her. And to their delight, a most worthy young man, well learned in the Torah and from a very good family, sought her hand in marriage. All arrangements for the wedding were in full swing, when to everyone's horror and grief, the prospective bride became ill and grew worse and worse from day to day. As nearly all the people of Yanovich and around had been invited to the wedding, the bride's sickness had become a universal anxiety. Some days later, Baruch, from his customary corner in the Beis Medrash, noticed that tables were being laid with all kinds of drinks and fancy delicacies. Soon the couple who had prayed for their daughter's recovery entered, surrounded by a large crowd of men and women. Baruch learned that this was in the form of a Thanksgiving celebration for their daughter's miraculous recovery. It seemed as if the entire world was there, yet Baruch felt a stranger there, completely out of it, for he thought the celebration had no possible connection with him. In fact, when the noise and merrymaking became too disturbing for him, he moved to another room where he could continue with his studies as if nothing had intervened. Now, Baruch saw life and people as the books on ethics had shown him to regard them. His approach became different, more tolerant and sympathetic, and he reproached himself for his previous aloofness and coldness. He felt his Judaism with his heart and soul now, as well as with his mind, and he felt himself at last to be on the right path towards living a truly perfect Jewish life.